Today's episode is brought to you by Shadow of the Tomb Raider, available September 14th. Pre-order now for 2-day early access.
Oh, welcome to SJU. It's Wednesday. We're talking Superman this morning, and is M. Night Shyamalan directing Superman? Because there's been a buttload of plot twists in the past 20 minutes. I'm Joe Starr. This is Dan Murrell. That's Spencer J. Gilbert. And that's Ed Greer.
Hey,
hello, boys.
Hello.
God, let's unpack all of this and see how many moves it takes us to get to a Steel reboot, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just jump into this.
I told Billy Business I've never been happier to have a camera because I feel like we're gonna cut to his camera like 18 times during the show.
I'm on all the breaking news.
Stay on that.
Wildly different from each other.
That sounds about right.
Stay on
yeah.
all of that breaking news, Billy, and let us know when Shaquille O'Neal gets involved. Also, make sure your mic's on. That's what JTE says.
I've just been so busy looking at all the
With all this,
bullshit.
there's a cavalcade. Cavill's capes and conundrums. Let's jump into them. In an article published this morning, The Hollywood Reporter reported that Henry Cavill was parting ways with WB, and more specifically, the role of Superman. Their source says negotiations broke down during the two parties while figuring out a cameo for Superman in the upcoming Shazam movie, which was like a while ago, so this is delayed reporting on them. The source also claimed that DC is shifting their focus to female-centric characters such as Supergirl and the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey spinoff.
Here comes diversity in comics swinging out of the trees.
Oh my God! And at any point you guys want to jump in with counterpoints and calling bullshit on any of this, just jump in.
Oh, I mean that would have been 3 sentences ago.
Okay.
Maybe we should just lay it all out.
Okay, let's lay it all out first.
And
let's lay it all out.
Let's see which ones.
And then we'll go back bullet point by bullet point and really get into the heart of this news. WB's official comment to THR was, "Well, no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films. We've always had great respect for and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged." The article also mentioned Ben Affleck's future, saying, "As such, Cavill will join Ben Affleck, who isn't expected to reprise his role for director Matt Reeves' forthcoming Batman standalone film as a hero on the way out," even though that hasn't been confirmed either.
No, but isn't respected is a hell of a Freudian slip.
Yeah. However, Cavill's manager, Danny Garcia, isn't confirming the story. On her Twitter, she posted, "Be peaceful," which I like. I like that. The cape is still in his closet, which I also like because that, to me, suggests that he gets to take it home after he shoots. Warner Brothers Pictures has been and continues to be our partners as they evolve the DC universe. Anticipate a WB statement later today.
That statement was very useful.
You know what I just realized about Superman? Sorry, here's
What?
a digression. When he's wearing the costume under his business suit,
Yep.
is he wearing a cape? Just awkwardly tucked into his dress pants?
Yeah.
I assumed he tucked it into the back of his super suit.
No, that's why they rarely shoot Clark Kent from the back, because you would see
That'd
that
be
fold
so
line.
uncomfortable, yeah.
But
Yeah.
see, the guys, you guys don't see the genius of it. It's bunched up to make sort of a hunchback, so where nobody thinks that
No,
Clark Kent is
like, there's
Superman.
no
It's
way.
Look at this hunchback.
That little
Midwestern.
hunchback? Nah.
There's no way a man with that much scoliosis
Got
could be
a
the
big
Man of
old
Steel.
back goiter. There's no way he could be Superman.
But I think that's a good point, though, because, if I wear like a blazer, I put like one phone in that pocket, and the whole thing just like, so no, I think that's a really good
Anyways,
I'm
question.
more concerned about the boots. Especially these DCEU
Oh, like
big-ass
under
combat
the
boots.
and sure.
Smushed
Got these
into
big
loafers.
combat boots under some loafers. Yeah, no.
But guys, who's gonna wear those smooshed up
Clark
boots?
Kent's so lumpy all the time. He can't be Superman.
Dan,
Yeah.
What business?
fix all of this.
I don't. We were talking about this. I will not be Charlie Brown to this Lucy game anymore. Like this is so. I don't believe a thing. I don't believe one word of it. I'm not taking one word of it as truth. I'm not taking
nihilist.
one word of it as
Nihilist
news.
Well,
Dan.
No. How many times have we fallen flat on our ass when they yanked this football away? Alec Baldwin, when Ben Affleck was leaving. Like, I'm sick of reports from insiders and studio sources inside Warner Brothers, and the next day it's like,
Sure.
not really. No, I don't believe it. I don't
Well,
believe it.
the first chunk all reeks of what Billy and I will affectionately call pro wrestling reporting, where Dave Meltzer, who is the big voice of pro wrestling, someone will lose a match and he'll say something like that they lost because they're in trouble. Probably they'll just say some bullshit, and that's kind of what the beginning of this is. We already know that they're gonna do Supergirl and Harley Quinn, so that's a very sort of
Do we?
well they've said those
They're
things.
shifting their focus.
And didn't we know that they didn't
Well, shifting
have-
their focus to female-centric characters is just someone going, "Oh, I can make that statement based on things that are already public." Like
Right.
that's not news or an official direction change. That's just somebody saying some things.
Didn't we know that they didn't already have any Superman movies in active development?
Yeah.
Yes, we already knew that.
So
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
We already knew there was
other than quoting studio insiders and sources.
He's been fired from nothing.
He hasn't quit.
Yeah.
He's been fired from nothing.
Yeah.
The studio says that it's a very vague statement. Now that's the other thing. Like I was talking with Billy about this before the show started. Like there's two sides to this. Number one is like who have just the unnamed, this flood of unnamed sources that just runs to the media with every little piece of scrap of info they think they might have Sherlock Holmes deduced based on some, like the Shazam thing and the relationships breaking down and it seems like a change in strategy because the Witcher thing came after, and I think that I've read other reporting that said he wasn't in Shazam because the Mission Impossible ran over and there was just a scheduling conflict. So like that doesn't mean that he's not Superman because he had a legitimate scheduling conflict. So it's like so much of it is based on speculation, but also Warner Brothers, like it doesn't help that like they have to know what's going on right now, and they're just like, well, we're not really sure, but we love Henry Cavill. Like you gotta, if you want to quell the firestorm, you have to be a little more, I don't know, maybe they can't be, I don't know, but it's just so, I just hate running, like, so many people are like, well, he's done as Superman. Like, no, he's not. And I don't like that the headline for this story when there's a report is that he's out, because there's absolutely no confirmation from any party involved whatsoever that he's out.
Well, is this a public contract renegotiation?
That's exactly what I was about to say. I think we're entering a stage of public contract negotiation, and if necessary, a plausible deniability to why they're getting rid of Affleck and Homeboy. Like somebody, if there's a good coach, if a good coach came to this WB team and they came in, they'd be like, look, our 2-star players suck. For what they're supposed to do, we wanted to be in the Ben Affleck business. It didn't quite work out. Henry Cavill's supposed to be super great, but he's given us some problems. His mustache is weird. His mustache has caused us CGI problems. You know what I mean? There's all these different things where if a coach came in and looked at his team, they might jettison those two players.
No, if the coach comes in, he says we got to find a way to use our two most talented players, who are Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck.
Maybe this guy's a
Gal
GM.
Gadot
Then he's a GM. He's gonna come and cut whatever the other GM signed. Maybe that's the
He's
metaphor.
making some spicy calls.
But all I'm saying is Henry Cavill, honestly, overall, it should have worked. It really should have worked.
I think
And
he works. The material sucks.
But that's the thing. No, that's the thing that would suck if they actually try to cut bait with him right now. Is this whole ordeal since Man of Steel on has been, they actually kind of somewhat managed to turn it into a story arc for him, as in the sense of just like the whole thing was Zod, and then he died, and it was like, what's going on? Like the silver lining to that is coming out of Justice League. The one thing that it seems like everybody across the board, even people that hated the movie, loved in that movie was Superman.
Yeah,
they're like, and Batman.
They fixed it.
Well, they got to see him be
Batman
super.
too, but
Yeah.
Superman particularly is like, yes, that's Superman. That's
He's
the
actually
performance
blue
I
and
knew he
red
could
and
do.
not purple and burgundy now.
That's
Yeah.
the character. Okay, the character is where he needs to be. He's gone through death and murder and horror and all this stuff, and he's come out alive and rejuvenated and happy and just like, let's go.
That's
and now
the
they're
dude.
just like, and he's done. Like, no, we just went through everything to get him to where he is now. Like, why would they? I don't know. It's just such a. I don't believe. I don't.
Ed, what will your contract, when you renegotiate your rates with Screen Junkies, what will that public renegotiation look like?
You know what? What's really sad is it's going to be like Dirk Nowitzki. I'll be like, please, sir, can I have some more? I'm the greatest white power forward of all time, and I'll take $10 million off my salary to be with you guys. That it's going to be a real sad. Yeah, he's German. I didn't want to do a German accent. It seems transgressive somehow. So all I'm saying and I'm not a Cavill hater. Okay, I'm not a Cavill hater. I do agree that it was the material that hamstrung him, but Ben Affleck don't work, man. And I don't know whose call it was to make old Batman. I don't know whose call that was. I think it was just them trying to shoehorn Batman and Superman fighting, and it makes sense that an older, more experienced Bruce Wayne / Batman would fight Superman, and that's like the only reason they went with such an established, quote unquote, as an old actor. That's the only reason. Just some aesthetic thing in Zack Snyder's head or in the WB people's head to get Dark Knight Returns on screen some kind of way. Otherwise, anybody intelligent would have cast a dude 2 years older than damn Spider-Man to be this damn Batman, so we can have Batman and Superman for years and years and years. Cavill can play Superman probably till he's almost 50. He's got that Chris Evans gene.
He can, but Ben Affleck, once the decision had been made for old Batman, then Ben Affleck's a great choice. Like, he is a beat down,
I hate that
grumpy
decision.
Well, I think
brawler.
I think too the bigger decision with old Batman is that we've seen the origin 1,000 times already, and going with it's already been going on for X amount of years means you can just launch right into Sirens, and you can launch right into multiple suicide squads and Jokers, and because all the Gotham stuff you can just be like, oh, it's been going on for years. Riddler's been around for 10 years. Here's his movie.
They're not doing that, though.
Don't you want a Riddler movie, Ed?
No.
Don't you want a Riddler movie?
I seriously don't need
Guys,
it.
I want to see one solo Ben Affleck Batman before we fully pass judgment.
I mean,
I don't think we're gonna get that.
I'm
the
the person who was after the second Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. I was the one who said that was the most physical and most creepy, especially in the early scenes.
Yeah.
Most Batman, frankly, that I'd ever seen on celluloid, period. I'm talking about Tim Burton all the way through. And still, I don't think they get, in the second movie, they take him out of the shadows. He's got big contraptions. He's a poor version of Iron Man with a dumb spider that he's kicking it with. He's got a bat spider. What sense does that make? They make him this dude who's just like, WB always makes him, besides those early scenes of the Zack Snyder movie, he's always this asshole kicking it with guys smoking cigarettes while they're on their break in midday. Like, why is he in the daytime at all?
He shouldn't be in the sun.
You know what I mean? Why is he in the sun? Why is he the
glitters
guy
in the sun.
gathering
He
people?
shouldn't be
It's
out
so
there.
stupid. I'm sorry to go off on that rant, but it's like, that's so dumb. That's not him.
Affleck, I can see just because there were creative differences with him and with Batman, and plus you can keep Batman siloed away from everybody else. He's a vigilante, he works alone, he's in Gotham City, whatever.
Yeah.
Another reason that I'm not totally on board with this Cavill thing, and it seems like the logic that a lot of the reporting, or at least the original reporting, was made that because there are no other Superman movies in development, then that means ergo Henry Cavill will be too old for the role and he's going to be out. Is Superman as a character, you have canonically characters that you are carrying forward. Wonder Woman, Aquaman. If they shoot the Flash movie at the beginning of next year like they say they're going to do, you're carrying forward at least 3 characters, who knows what's happening with Cyborg, from the established Justice League forward into their own films. And who's to say Superman can't pop up in one of those movies? Again, looking at the blueprint ahead of them, it's been proven with the MCU that you can bring other quote-unquote headline heroes into another superhero's film and do something really cool with it. That's the other thing, is like, why is the assumption that just because there's no solo Superman film being developed that he's not going to appear in any other film, or when they do Green Lantern Corps, or this just smells funny to me. It smells like there was some scraps of information that were out there that were put together and sort of announced in a certain way that it just doesn't seem like it's way too hasty of a conclusion to draw.
I agree with you. I think it's so far, like everything we've read through, like it's all recycled news that someone just put their own frame on, which sort of brings us to the other big twist everybody ran with, is the Michael B. Jordan in talks as Superman. I believe,
just to clarify, Joe, this was originally reported in Deadline's article. Right. They said that he was at the top of a list of being considered. There's been no official negotiations, nothing of that sort, but a lot of people online are already saying, like, that's not my Superman, or
shocking.
Like, I
or that is my.
An unnamed source said that
casted.
somebody at the studio said that someone at the studio at one time considered perhaps. It's not news.
Yeah.
That's someone in the men's room was shouting from inside of the stall, like, what do you think about Michael B. Jordan as Superman? He seems to be in a lot of things.
That sounds good.
That's not news.
We're going to release at the same time we release that Childish Gambino Spider-Man movie.
So to put a pin in that,
and Deadpool.
His Deadpool cartoon, yeah.
So to put a pin in that, Justin Kroll from Variety also tweeted to not To take that with a huge grain of salt, because Michael B. Jordan is basically just on a whiteboard at Warner Brothers, and anytime they have a project, that's like they just point at that whiteboard and go, Michael B. Jordan, which of course you would. It's Michael B. Jordan.
He's on the whiteboard in every movie
He's
studio
a phenomenal
in the city.
talent.
Yeah.
But when the Matrix reboot rumors started going again, it was Michael B. Jordan. He's of course they're gonna have the Michael B. Jordan whiteboard. Anyone with a brain at any studio he's a great talent. His movies are fantastic. He's a phenomenal actor. But so sure, when they say backup Superman, he's probably first on the list because he's the first on every list they have.
Oh, he's entered Will Smith territory when you remember when Will Smith was up for everything. Will Smith was up for The Matrix. Will Smith up for a lot of things. You know what I mean? Because he is Will Smith. So yeah, I could see him entering that territory where people could talk about him like that. But it's also, and I hate to be a person who would ever bring this up, but this whole thing of we were considering a black Superman. Never gonna do it. We were considering it. Look at me. You know what I mean? I don't want to use the term virtue signaling because universally people who use that term are dickheads. Universally. But if there was one that was that's it.
You'll give them that one?
Yeah, I'll give them that one.
We considered it once.
That's the level. That's the level to which you can accuse somebody of virtue signaling when it's something like that. Super unlikely, total posture. When it's like that, you can say that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, leave people's social media alone, jerk.
Yeah, so that's is Henry Cavill in or out, you guys? What are we?
I don't.
What are we taking away from here?
I don't take anything away from here.
This is a
other than that
negotiation.
there's no Superman movies.
Yeah, like Dan and Joe and Spencer.
What's up?
Everybody has said I think it's a negotiation. I think it's a long negotiation, and just like Dan said, it doesn't mean they might discover wrongly that their Superman, the way it's working in the DCEU, is more like the Hulk. Because honestly, his own movie, they kind of dropped the ball on doing his own movie, and then he pops up in another movie, he's okay. He pops up in another movie as a small part, he's okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they might be thinking that it might be cool to just relax, let him do some Mission Impossibles and Smash Brothers movies or whatever he wants to do.
Oh man, him in The Witcher, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I hope that is a great franchise and he can just kind of ride off into that role. And Michael B. Jordan will become Superman, and then 1,000 people start researching, Kryptonian suns and melanin and how this just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't work that way.
This doesn't work for me.
Oh, then we got Black Nerd Twitter to be like, see, the melanin catch more energy, so he's stronger than regular Superman.
I want that. I want that universe.
I can't wait for this debate. That debate's already happening. That debate
Trust me,
started.
Joe, it is more than happening.
God, I don't stop it.
Already.
Stop wasting your time. It's a waste of time. It'd be a waste of time if he was cast actually, but it's even more of a waste of time right now. Don't do it. Stop it. I don't believe a word. I don't believe one word that studio sources at Warner Brothers say. Not one word. They did it with Batman. They did it with Alec Baldwin. I don't believe you. You're full of shit until proven otherwise. I don't believe it.
Let me ask you guys this:
It's garbage.
Is Alec Baldwin Superman?
Oh, okay.
Is that the move?
Okay.
Yeah, that Kingdom Come Superman coming down the pike.
Oh yeah, you're just an angry Alec Baldwin. Is Kingdom
I
Come
want Henry
Superman.
Cavill to come right here in this studio and tell us he's no longer Superman, and then maybe I'll believe.
And I want him to have a fake mustache on when he does it.
Yes.
he's a sweet and delightful
He's
boy.
a very nice man, it seems, from Hal's interaction with him.
Based purely on that. Seems like a great guy. Billy, is this settling down online at all, or is everything still on fire?
I mean, it's Twitter, so it's hard to gauge. I feel like it's always an apocalyptic wasteland. But I think the narrative has shifted from, within the last hour, shifted from, why is this happening, to Michael B. Jordan should or shouldn't be. That's, what I'm seeing the most.
Give it 5 minutes. They'll move on. New Balance will release a racist sneaker, and everyone will start yelling about that. Or whatever thing is going to happen, just it'll all blow over. Let's go have a pint.
Let's go have a pint. Also, Henry Cavill is in the Shaun of the Dead reboot. I don't know. Run with that.
Michael B. Jordan,
I heard,
is cast as Alec Baldwin in the Batman movie.
In the Batman movie, Michael B. Jordan is Alec Baldwin's Thomas Wayne.
Oh, that racist sneaker, Franklin Leonard of the Blacklist called it the Confederacy Low Top. Coming
It's
soon.
unfortunate because they're so comfortable and they have such good support.
I agree. Every time I see a nice New Balance on sale now, I'm like, Son of a bitch!
They really
New Balance, no blacks. Boom. No,
Oh.
except dads, because I've seen a lot of black dads rock those New Balance.
Yeah,
They're
the
actually,
dad transcends.
Yeah.
New Balances and dads, they're just drawn to each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, yeah.
And dads aren't on Twitter.
Moth to a flame.
My dad's not on Twitter.
I'm not on shoe Twitter. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm on the edges of shoe
I need
Twitter.
to pick up some followers. I'm,
Don't
not,
worry
on,
about
I'm
it.
not plugged into shoe Twitter, so I don't know what's
As dumb, if not dumber than movie Twitter.
Guys,
Oh,
which
yeah.
which members of the
That's a pretty high bar.
which
And
members
I'm a
of the
big part of
Justice
movie
League
Twitter.
are on shoe Twitter? Ed?
I'm not up on it. I rocked Adidas, and I still do, but not out of any sort of anti-protest.
the Justice League, I think it's really only the Flash, but he's like,
On shoe Twitter?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like the most basic, like F-boy, whatever the hottest one is, he's just first in line.
I got a raffle ticket.
It's easy
Yeah.
for
Supreme.
It's easy for him to be first in line.
Yeah.
And not to be
That's still alive.
stereotypical, but the only reason Cyborg's not on shoe Twitter is because he doesn't have feet.
Can that
He is a college athlete, right? Like,
Yeah, you know
he's
what I'm saying? He would
Definitely
definitely be on
some
shoe
corrupt
Twitter.
Yeah.
booster is
Yeah.
buying
Now, see,
special robot
we
shoes.
talked a little bit
Come
about
play for U of A.
we talked a little bit about what a Cyborg solo movie would be the other day, and I think that is a sad what happened to my humanity scene, is because he was a college athlete, he would be huge on shoe Twitter, and so he's looking at releases and he's looking at his big robot feet, and he's
Well,
just
maybe
so
it's just
sad.
him wanting to play football. It's like blue chips.
He just-
wants
but
to with
I could just
Cyborg.
see him just Iron Manning over to the Nike campus going, man, I need a size 57 Jordan for crime fighting.
Cover up my
USB
robot
port.
feet. Yeah, it has to be able to charge my lasers.
No, like, we'll get right on
And
that.
also still pump up.
All right, what else are we talking about?
You guys want to move on from this?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this a little bit. Christopher Nolan wants to fix your TV. Hey.
Thanks, Chris.
This is via Slash Film. Christopher Nolan and Paul Thomas Anderson have reached out to television manufacturers to ensure. I really like the idea of this for one. That they wrote a handwritten letter to television manufacturers to ensure that audiences at home are able to see films presented as closely as possible to the director's original intention. And a new reference mode will implement the results of a new director survey sent out to the DGA. So the problem they have stems mostly from the annoyance of the motion smoothing features of newer TVs, which,
It's on by default.
yep, Dan, not a fan, based on the noises. While motion smoothing often looks good for sports, it gives everything else a soap opera effect that makes it look very cheap and very tacky. The problem is that TV manufacturers have made it the default setting for most televisions, likely so that it can display sports footage on the show floor at stores like Best Buy and Target. I blame Best Buy and Target. The DGA aren't the only ones trying to remedy this problem. Netflix teamed up with Sony to create a Netflix calibrated mode for its top-of-the-line TV models that would essentially serve the same function, giving consumers the choice to view things the way the filmmakers intended. So let's jump into this. Is that a fix you guys want? What's your current fix?
Yeah, it
'Cause-
sounds awesome. I mean, I don't know how to really calibrate my TV and like I'm gonna go through the trouble changing from sports to a movie. Like I'm gonna like actually change my settings. Like,
I have a preset.
no.
I have a preset called Movie that
Okay.
the TV came with, and I just use that for and the TV tells me that that's what they intended for me to see the movie in. That's close to the director's vision, so I just stick with Movie for everything.
I have not backed a Chris Nolan venture like this since inception. They have my sword, my axe, my bow, my arsenal, my firstborn child. If I can, this is like a crusade. This is the bane, and what I think smart TVs were made to turn this feature back on because I swear to God I have fixed this on my mom's TV 5 times. It makes movies look like garbage. It makes it look
weird.
like it was shot in someone's backyard. It could be the most epic movie ever made with this stupid motion smoothing thing on. It looks like it was shot in some back slot studio. I am so on board with this. I wish you could just delete the whole setting off your TV entirely. It looks so stupid. I guess I get why you would want it for sports, but why it's the default, I have no idea. And I also hate it because I'm not to be too stereotypical, but I would say generally perhaps older owners of televisions don't know the difference, and they leave it to their younger sons who work for YouTube channels to come home and be like, "Mom, this looks like garbage." She's like, "I didn't notice the difference." I'm like, "Oh, no." Let me fix it.
Dad, I can't believe you watched half of Breaking Bad like this.
Yeah. I'm 100% on board with this. Cosign.
Yeah, make it happen automatically. I don't want to press extra buttons. That's my only request
I get
for
behind
Crystal.
that.
Like, it's smart enough to I can check my email from my TV. It should know, oh, you're watching sports.
I want to switch automatically.
Yeah.
See, it'll do that if I go to play video games. Like if I really want to just be upset for the rest of the day and turn on XCOM, my TV automatically switches to the HD smoothing, HDR, blah blah blah.
Well, see, that's what I would say is just like all this jazz, and I agree with Dan. Like, older somebody, there's some grandpa that stumbled upon us talking about this and like, these guys are stupid. You know what I mean? Because it just sounds stupid.
I'm going back to shoe Twitter.
Right, because they were watching, those old 70s Knicks games and stuff, and they could see everybody. I can't even watch classic sports. I mean, it looks like a bunch of blobs. We've become, mole people on some level. You know what I mean? So I would love for it to be automatic, is what I'm saying. I would love for it to be automatic when you watch. There are certain channels that don't play like real movies. If you're on NBC, 10 times 10, you're watching sports or a TV show that's probably shot in a way that motion smoothing would like. Mm-hmm. If you're watching AMC or HBO, you're watching a freaking movie, most likely. So I don't know whether TV wouldn't automatically be able to sense that on some level. I don't know. I'm not a tech guy.
It's actually definitely possible because when the Apple TV 4K came out, one of the major gripes was that you had to put it on one setting and that was it. And one of their firmware updates was that it would actually look at what piece of content you were watching, what the frame rate was, all of that, and would automatically switch your TV.
Ooh,
so it's possible.
Thank you, Apple.
They
Nice
just
plug.
don't do it.
Okay.
I wish they would send us one. We sure love those TVs.
Yeah, and the Ford F-150. Ford's most powerful pickup.
Are you carrying that on for Monday?
All leather seats, lots of cup holders. What more do you want?
So, guys, if we could just touch back on this for a minute, because it is bothering me. So, if you guys will indulge me, when Clark tucks in the dress shirt, does he tuck it into the suit pants or the soup pants?
Soup pants. No, the soup.
Which
the soup
pants?
suit is a one piece. I thought.
Well,
But
yeah,
then why
now.
does it need a belt?
Because it breaks up the line.
yeah,
it's a fashion thing. It breaks up.
Okay,
the
so it's not
monotony.
like a utility.
What were
The
those things
soup
when-
shirt is
when,
not tucked
what-
into
For 5 seconds, when guys were wearing rompers, they
the romp hems. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a romp hem. It's a romp hem.
Okay, that makes sense.
Here's a better question. When he goes like through a revolving door like in the movies and comes out as Superman, does that mean he's wearing his regular suit under his Superman suit now?
Where did it go? That's a
Because
really good
otherwise,
question.
where did it go?
You know what? I think this would be really solved if he just flew his ass over to Central City or Keystone City or wherever the hell Flash lives and goes, can you put this in a ring? Put this whole suit in a ring.
Just a quick ring. He's got a belt. It's got pouches, I think. It's got a couple cable pouches on that belt sometimes. Depend.
Around
So,
my
Clean.
belt,
He's got to be
Superman.
aerodynamic.
so okay, just to
Yeah, no
just to
pouches.
wrap my head around this, Clark gets up in the morning. Cal gets up in the morning.
First things first.
He puts on.
one piece, full skin tight one piece.
But wait. Does he put on underwear under?
the
one piece.
underwear goes over, doesn't it?
Okay, so he's commando. Puts on the romper.
Piece.
Yeah.
The
Then
one
the
piece,
underwear.
then the
the
underwear.
underwear, yeah. Then a
But then
cape.
does he put on human underwear to go on under the human
Doesn't do
suit?
that.
No,
Okay.
no.
Now, Kryptonians have solved ball sweat.
Yeah, and
They've solved
it would
it.
never
Okay.
withstand the pressure of super junk. So it's and then he puts on a cape, and then he puts on boots, and then he puts on human underwear, and then slacks, and then buttons up. Oh, and then tucks in the cape into the pants.
Right.
Then he puts on a button up, a tie, and then dress shoes over his boots, and then he really awkwardly, like Ralphie in Christmas Story, just like walks out into the streets of Metropolis.
You want to know how much of a nerd I am? I was half laughing at that joke and half in my head going, "That was Ralphie's brother, not Ralphie."
But I just say, if somebody could actually fly, they'd have to bundle up like Ralphie's brother just to withstand all the
freezing up there.
freezing and stuff.
That's true.
But I would also like to see. I would just like to see somebody do this as a short film, please. This is my plea. Superman, as Clark Kent maybe, goes to watch this Spider-Man movie. And he sees that Spider-Man stashes his clothes in little packages
Yeah.
around the city. He goes, damn it! And it just cuts to black.
I like that. Yeah.
So guys,
They used to explain this in the old days. They used to show him taking suitcases into the janitor's closets at the Daily Planet. But
Yeah.
they retroactively unexplain. It's the opposite of what most movies do nowadays. They unexplained a rational explanation for how things can be.
I want an explanation, but I also don't want that explanation to be bullshit Tony Stark nanotech. Because I hate
It's like
I hate the
Kryptonian
nanotech
technology. Yeah, it's organic tech from Krypton, like those weird Spencer's Gifts things.
So he has like a nice Calvin Klein suit that's made out of Krypton.
I think
cryptocurrency.
No, he burns through suits. These are like stripper suits with like the perforated
Oh, like
seams.
pulls away.
Oh yeah. Like the Clippers warm ups.
Yeah.
Sub question because of the thing that I just mispronounced. Does Superman use cryptocurrency?
I see what you did there.
I didn't mean to, but it happened. Hey guys, we did it. I think. Is Henry Cavill?
Any
Henry
breaking
Cavill
news
Superman?
since we started talking, Billy? Did the story change?
It's so funny. I encourage everyone just to see the state of things. Type in Henry Cavill Superman on Google and just look at the top 8 headlines where it's like, is Henry Cavill out? Henry Cavill retires. Henry Cavill's so done with Superman. Is Superman done? Michael B. Jordan cast as Superman. Like there's 8 different.
I mean, our own
headlines of
thumbnail
varying
says that
degrees.
there are going to be no more Superman
No,
movies.
There's a question mark.
To be clear,
There's
it's
a question mark.
no more Superman movies
Movies?
with Henry Cavill. Oh. That's why Cavill is on there. Thanks, Joe.
Got it. I just wanted to clear it up. I just wanted to make sure I knew where we were coming from. Any interesting comments or questions from chat that we need to? Are they worried?
So
Are they okay?
There's some people very concerned about some. By the way, I say this jokingly, but it's actually very serious. There's some EU law got passed that's like their version of net neutrality.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really want us to talk about it. I don't know anything about it.
What does it
We
do
can
have to do with
definitely-
Henry Cavill, Billy?
It may limit your ability to Google search for Henry Cavill.
Oh, well, screw
as far
that.
as I know.
I tell you what, I totally I appreciate you guys wanting to talk about that. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that tomorrow once we've actually had some time to read
brush
about it.
up all
And
of us
Apple
today.
taking
yeah.
movies away from people because I've been reading about that too.
Oh, I saw a tweet about that
Yeah.
amidst the Michael
look
B.
into
Jordan
that, too.
firestorm. Guys, Predator Honest Trailer's out. Predator Honest Trailer Commentaries is out. Come check out how little we know about the Dutch.
Bill Duke liked it on Twitter.
He did.
And he should play Superman.
He's Jor-El.
Is Bill
Don't be
Duke
stupid.
Dummy. Superman.
Hey, great timing. Tomorrow, movie fights. All DC themed.
We did not plan this.
We did not plan this because the streaming service launches this weekend. So,
Awkward now, right?
a little awkward.
Streaming service is coming, but the narrative is all about their losing
About
their
about
cast.
losing
Yeah.
about losing their anchor.
Perfect,
Really?
perfect DC time.
Is it really that surprised, Billy, given
No,
how
not
this
anymore.
seems to operate now?
Not
But I am
anymore.
really excited about calling this episode DC Talk over and over again, and just seeing who all picks that joke up.
That was
it's
my
a-
childhood joke.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. It's a great lineup. Clark Wolf, Dan Casey, Ace Cabrera. That's an awesome show. Make sure you guys check it out. And we'll see you tomorrow after we've done some reading on the EU and what that is.
And who Superman is?
Bye, guys.
It might be me.
The European Union.